Hey, it is been a bit. I intended to do one of these sooner after getting back, but I didn't. It's September 1st right now. I've been back in America for a week and a day. It's Friday. I got back last Thursday. Uh, Missed the first week of school because I didn't get back until Thursday morning, and school started last Tuesday of last week. Right now, I'm sitting in the parking lot because parking here is a nightmare. And I wasn't sure if I'd be able to park or not, but there's actually spaces today. Who could have guessed? Because on so I don't know, but on Wednesday afternoon for the same class, there was no parking. And I ended up parking in a line of cars that just formed on the edge of one of the parking lots. Got a $25 fine that I'm absolutely not going to pay because no. I paid for a parking pass. Paid nearly $300 for a parking pass for this last semester. And I paid to park on campus. I'm going to park on campus. Not my fault there aren't enough spaces. You shouldn't have torn up the parking lots and whatever else. I know at least one parking lot's been torn up, the one by North Deck. I don't know if there's other stuff that's been removed too. So that parking lot wasn't that big, so I'm sure there must be more that's gone as well. Let me see if I can doing this on my phone. It's not gonna. I look wonderful from this angle. I don't think it's gonna sit there. I guess I'll keep holding it. So, and my the one class I have today doesn't start until 12:30. It's currently 11:44 because Wednesday I got here about that early and didn't find a parking space. So I thought. I mean, granted, I knew it was Friday, so there was a decent chance that parking wouldn't be as bad. I kind of expected there to be more people than this, but I thought there was a not zero possibility of not finding parking, so I figured I might as well. But now at least I know on Fridays I can, not show up an hour and a half early. It would have been the same deal Monday, except for I just happened to be driving past somebody as they were about to leave, so I really lucked out then. So being back in the United States, back in North Carolina, to be super honest, like, kind of hate it here. There's no joke there. I'm kind of want to be back in Kyoto. I miss all the friends I had there. I miss the life I'd built up there. I don't really like it here. I mean, it's not an entirely fair judgment of everything. One thing that is funny, constantly I was thinking how much more convenient my life would be in Kyoto if only I had a car and I could drive places. I forgot how much driving kind of sucks, just because all the other people on the road and all the traffic, all the constant traffic. 74 being, Highway 74. Being all blocked up because they're trying to build a bypass that they've been talking about for like 15 years. Apparently they finally started construction on that while I was gone. So yeah, this is I don't even know what to say. I'm probably not gonna edit this. I actually haven't uploaded any of the ones. I uploaded to YouTube like the last, I think 4 or 5 that I did before I left, and then I've got the rest of them just sitting on my computer. I've been meaning to upload them. I just haven't. Well, there is the one that I recorded like the last night in Kyoto, which is still on my phone. So I did not record that, or not record, and did not upload that either. Naturally, because I'm kind of lazy. So classes wise, I guess would be the next thing. Well, no, let me get back to the classes. Classes here. What else can I talk about from coming home? On the last day, I went to the airport with one of my good friends from Kyoto. She went back to UK. Well, we went to Osaka Airport together, but her flight was about an hour and a half before mine. So I went through security. We're waiting for the thing. Uh, that was very depressing. It was definitely the hardest goodbye of all the goodbyes from Kyoto was saying goodbye to her, as we had hung out pretty much all the time. Though I've talked to her since. She made it home all right now, which is good. Seems to be enjoying being back home for herself a lot more than I am. What else? I can't think of things to say. The flight back was horrible. I mean, objectively, it was probably fine. Like, I could have had a much worse experience from things I've heard. But at the same time, a 14 and a half hour... Well, let me back that up. 2 hours to Seoul. And then in the airport where I could not use any of the money I had and nowhere would take. I don't know if that's a normal thing for international airports in major cities not to take American debit and credit card and stuff. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Because, I'd never been on a plane before going to Japan. I've flown twice, so no idea. But I had to... I didn't end up exchanging my currency, my yen, for dollars until I got to Atlanta Airport. I feel like I probably got pretty ripped off on that, but whatever. Somebody talking off that way. I ended up spending basically I spent $20 on a pretty shitty sandwich because I hadn't eaten anything yet and I'd already been awake for oh god, by the time I got there probably 6 or 7 hours. And I knew I wasn't going to get to eat anything until I got on the plane. The plane food, by the way, turned out to be awful. Really unpleasant stuff. That's, I mean, granted, I'm kind of picky as well, but the vegetarian thing was some weird cheesy noodle stuff with some really gross mushrooms and some other unpleasant, I don't like mushrooms. Cheesy noodles I could have done without. I could manage that, but then all the rest of the stuff in it made it not good. But yeah, pretty much that. Had a delightful time with a 14 and a half hour flight from Seoul. 4 hour layover in Seoul. 2 hours to Seoul, 4 hour layover there. I think it was a 14 and hour and 10 minute, 14 and a half, 13 and a half, something teen and some minutes hour flight from Seoul to Atlanta. That was awful. Sucked. Unpleasant. Cramped, tiny seat. See, the thing, I'm a big guy. The width of the seats isn't a thing. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but not it's not that bad. The thing with the airplane seats that really gets me is that I don't have enough leg room. My knees are jammed into the seat in front of me. And, I'm sure some of that's fat, but mostly that's just because I'm, almost 6 foot tall. So, that was unpleasant and painful. Because I had my knees jammed in there, and then I could have done without that. Getting to Atlanta, my plan had been, I'd heard something to the effect of Admiral's Club or the Flight Club or whatever it is, you pay $50 for a day pass to that. And because I'd heard somewhere or other that it was worthwhile to do that if you have a really long layover, and my layover in Atlanta was 12 hours. Unfortunately, I guess because it's how it works that my layover was that long, I had to re-get all my checked bags. Had to get both my checked bags and leave security, which I did not want to do because the thing was in security. But I had to. That was fun. So got my money exchanged. Pretty sure I got screwed out of I want to say at least $40 on that exchange, which kind of bullshit, but what are you gonna do? Ended up having to get a hotel for the night because I was operating off of by that point I had been awake for, let me do some quick math here. Lord, it was 7 p.m. when I got there. So it would have been 8 a.m. 7, 8. Yeah, 8 a.m. in Japan, the day after I left. So I'd already been awake for almost more than 24 hours. I did sleep some on the plane. I think I got like 4 hours, somewhere in there. Not nearly enough. Considering as well that the night before I'd only gotten like 4 hours. So I basically ended up paying almost $80 to sleep for another 5 hours and take a shower. That was delightful. Because I didn't want to sleep in the airport with all my stuff, because I really don't want to get my stuff stolen. I'm really not keen to lose everything I own. Go figure. Crazy. Let's see. Did that, flew back, getting back to the airport was a real, well, not really funny, but a kind of funny thing was there was a, I don't know, I guess she was like Atlanta police or something, a police officer who was just standing there for security stuff, I guess. But some guy came up and asked her, and then she's like, I guess at first she didn't realize that he was asking her about where to do things, because like he was asking her stuff that like the airport people would be somebody you'd ask, like where to go if he had some specific thing or something. And I guess she didn't realize that he was talking to her or whatever. But and when she didn't answer like immediately, he gave her like a half second to answer, and then he started getting all pissy with her. And I'm just like, all right. And then, she got pissy back as I would too. But that was pretty funny, watching the cop get, mad at the guy. Because he was being real. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and he's like, oh, if you don't work here, you should say something. And then she's like, it's obvious. And it was obvious, because, all the people working for the airline were, dressed like they worked for an airline, and she was dressed like a cop because she was a cop. So that was, I just happen to remember that. It's not really anything important. But got through security again, which, getting through security in America, it's so just extra shit. And pardon the language, I recognize this is his first scholarship, and I've been saying, maybe I'll cut it. I don't know. Probably won't cut it. I realized I'd planned to edit all these and make them look better, but then I never do, because I'm lazy. Let's see. But yeah, I got through all that, uneventful, got home. Been staying at my parents' house. Free rent. And my car died while I was gone, so I'm driving my dad's truck to school recently, which, it's got air conditioning. My car didn't have air conditioning, so I'll take it. So I got to see my dogs again. They barked at me, but then it was fine. It was a stranger for like 5 seconds. Not a whole lot's changed with family and stuff. Meeting up with friends, haven't really gotten to, because to be absolutely honest, I really don't have a lot of friends around here anymore. Like I used to, and then we all just drifted apart, and now, or people moved, or what have you. Though one of my friends from Kyoto actually does go to UNC, as it turns out, incidentally, and we didn't know each other before then, but I hadn't had a chance to meet up with him yet. And he did leave. He was one of the ones that left in early August. But met up with one of my friends from high school yesterday. Me and her got lunch. And that some fancy ice cream place that was really overpriced, I thought. Just caught up a little bit. Nothing super spectacular. I've been playing a bunch of the video games that I missed in the last year. Like Dishonored 2 came out, which I was really looking forward to, because I loved the first one. I just finished playing that. So I guess the last thing I really have to talk about right now is do a quick thing of the classes I'm taking right now. I would have graduated in May if I hadn't gone to Doshisha, gone to Japan. So I'm like this is the first semester of 5th year of college. I just needed, I already have enough credits to graduate. I just needed 2 electives for my major, and then I'm taking 2 others just to, because, I guess. Mainly so I get better financial aid. It's full-time. I don't actually know if that was a worthwhile decision or not. But at risk of sounding awful, with those other 2, it really doesn't matter if I pass them. So if I don't pass them, I don't really care. One of them I can't imagine I would fail it. One of them, unrelated, is I'm now a TA, except they don't call it TA, they call it like LA or something, for a Japanese class here. Second semester. Yeah, that's... And basically all I've really had to do so far is just like walk around and answer questions and then grade. Like there's another guy, a Japanese guy, whose name is escaping me at the moment. I still haven't really learned any of their names yet, the students or the guy. I think the guy's name is Kazuki. I remember his last name's Yamada. I don't remember. I think his first name is Kazuki, but I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, we both split all the stuff for that one, and I graded half. He graded half. It's second semester, so it's fairly early on, relatively easy stuff. At least, well, for me, not as much for them. It's still new to them. Of course, it's UNC's Japanese program, so it's at risk of angering my school. Our Japanese program is, I've learned, kinda lackluster. And granted, I'd already, when I was taking it, I was always constantly studying ahead and trying to learn more and read more and work ahead, because it was already half review for me anyway, most of the time. But just comparing to what other people around the world have had, like in the same amount of time, it seems that UNC runs at a very, very slow pace compared to some of the rest. Which, it is what it is. The other classes are all English electives. I'm an English major. I should have probably been English-Japanese dual major, but I wasn't, and I don't really regret that decision, because if I was, I'd have to wait longer to graduate, and I don't feel like it. So, what else? I guess for the other classes are, all 3 of them are things that can count as an English elective. Is one of the 2 electives I need, so I'm not at all concerned about those. Those, it turns out, one of them I actually... See, the unfortunate thing as well is my first day of class was the end of ad drop. Because I didn't get back until it had already been going on. I think. I'm told that Monday was the last day for ad drop, and that was the first day I don't actually know if that's true. So I could have sworn it was 10 days, not a week. But what do I know? Maybe they changed it while I was gone or something. But as it turns out, I really hate one of them. Just because it's a literary analysis thing, which... Literary, like, I don't have anything against literary analysis in general. It's just that it's... that whole thing, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and sometimes it really is, but with classes like that, it never is. Everything means something. Nothing is ever just what it is. And, I really hate looking and digging for some deeper meaning when one doesn't actually necessarily exist. Like, not every single thing in every single... Like, not every single word in every single sentence, not every single choice of phrasing has some great deeper meaning. Like, it's really annoying. Like, in the